accolades for Jabari Smith, who certainly is going to come in motivated, Jonathan, with a huge chip on his shoulder. You know, many people thought for Orlando at number 1, Jabari Smith would be the quote-unquote safe pick. And the question with him was, we know what we're getting. Is there an upside to him? Because you want growth. You want a ceiling. What is Houston going to get from him in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not as NBA ready as some of the other guys, particularly Paolo. And even Chet, I think, defensively is going to make an immediate impact. But also, with Jabari, the shooting is going to translate right away, right? I think we can bank on that. I will say Houston was probably the least favorable outcome for him, not just because he falls from 1 to 3, but Houston doesn't have great point guard play. And I think he's a guy who needs to be set up a little bit early in his career. But the freedom he'll have in Houston, I think, to work on creating his own shot should be good for him in the long run. But yeah, there's clearly a lot of upside to a 6'10" shooter, and not just a spot-up guy, a guy who could pull up and play off screens and has some post-game to him as well.
You know, for a team that had James Harden and Chris Paul and James Harden and Russell Westbrook, to a team now that's got several lottery picks, and you look at Jalen Green from last year and Kenyon Martin and some of these other guys that are on this roster, what are they building in Houston right now? How far away are they?
They're a couple years away because, you know, we're still trying to see what Jalen Green's going to turn into. Jabari Smith, we all know he's a great shooter, but he's not a guy that gets it on his own. Like, when you really watch Auburn play, as we see the tweet right there, when you watch Auburn play, a lot of times he was getting his off pin downs and curls because they ran the flex. That's an old school throwback offense at Auburn. So Jabari's going to take some time to have to develop to a go-to player where you can just say, hey, here's the ball, go do it on your own. But the shooting, I agree, will translate right away. The pick and pop's going to be there. But I think Houston is going to be they're probably 3 years of developing these young players away from making the playoffs.
So we heard in that interview a bit of a chip for not going 1. But I think we all agree that this draft had 3 number 1s. And that any one of the 3 could have been 1. And Orlando, had they taken any of them, that would have been fine. And so it is a draft where any one of these top 3 could ultimately be, you know, a potential all-star, potential rookie of the year in the short term. So I think they'd be fine.